Hello, everyone. I'm truly excited today on the new episode of the SDJ podcast. I have the one and only Miss Dimpy Fadhya with me. She's an actress, she's a spiritual therapist, a tarot card expert, a visionary, and also an upcoming author. So it's truly amazing to have her on this chat, and we're going to share various insights on her amazing journey. So, welcome, Dimpy. Truly excited to have you today on this new show. And today we're going to chat with you and share a little bit insights on your journey. So, my first question, would be, you've lived two different lives, one in front of the camera, one behind the camera, helping people. What is the difference in nature of human beings that you notice?
To be very honest, I've seen a lot of. I also feel that they are living up to exactly how they think they should be to fit in.
Okay.
It's not. I fail to see, and it's very sad that I fail to see their authentic self. And it's so much of pressure that if you constantly have to put up an act, and if you release that, you're so much more at ease, you're free, you don't have to play this game anymore. And um in the spiritual journey, I feel like you one becomes an observer, right? And when you start, by default you're observing, right?
Right.
It's not to say that you're being judgmental, but you can understand as an observer's point of view. You start seeing the whole picture from being outside of the scenario, like you're watching a play on stage, and you happen to see the interactions are not actually genuine or authentic. There are a few genuine and authentic people for sure, and that's who you actually have a very deep, meaningful soul connect with. Apart from that, um, one has to just, and one, and Siddhant, in this journey, that you cannot even impose anything,
Right.
right? You just have to be, sit back and let everyone be who they are and on that path, and step aside and be by yourself if you're not aligning with anyone. So yeah, it's easier said than done. It's
Right.
tough. And people also feel sometimes, they're like, oh, she has attitude, and she doesn't want to mingle. But the ones who know, they know. And sometimes they also come and ask me when I'm sitting in the corner, and they're like, hey, are you fine? Is everything all right? And I'm like, yeah, everything is okay. I'm just conserving my energy. So, yeah.
So I want to know, have you met someone, whose energy completely contradict their public image?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have. I mean, obviously, it doesn't make sense, or it's not right for me to take names. But yes, absolutely, 100%. It's so contradictory that it's funny to even know that someone who's like that is living a life like this. And it happens. That's what I'm saying. It happens all the time, and and I see there's so much pain inside that person, because you always have to perform.
Right.
Right? You're performing all the time, and I feel like, why? You're troubling yourself, you're just bothering yourself. If you let go, and I think it comes from a lot of childhood traumas, wounds, unhealed, right? To not show your authentic self, to see that if I play this act, if I perform, then I'm accepted, right? And once you release the need to be accepted by someone else, and the only person that has to validate yourself is you, right? And if you don't give a damn about, I don't care what anybody thinks, but it takes a lot of work to come there. And trust me, I was there too, right? I think we're all there, and I'm still learning, and I'm still like, um, there are times where I falter, and then I feel like, why did I do that? Why couldn't I have just been myself? Sometimes we also, um, have this facade, or not facade per se. We also pretend because you don't want to end up hurting somebody else.
Right.
Correct? That also happens. Now I've done that so many times in the recent past. When I come back home, I say, neither am I helping myself nor am I helping them by pretending that I'm okay with what they did, because they wouldn't know anyway. And if I'm only truthful to them and let them know how it made me feel, maybe they will understand. So there's so much to this path. It's just not a one time thing, it's a lifelong learning process, journey. And we of course we have our own flaws, we falter, and we come back into switching up and down, as long as there is awareness constantly you
Right.
know
So I want to know, was there a particular moment, where you decided to shift from, the applause to seeking purpose?
Yeah, I think life is the biggest teacher, Siddhant. And when you're constantly, I think the universe has its beautiful ways of teaching you the greatest and biggest life lessons. And I think when you rely on someone so much, that is your closest family, when you have, and I'm sure everybody somewhere or the other can relate to this, because and there are a lot of times I feel people are humiliated or embarrassed or ashamed to share this, is because they feel, how can one wash their dirty linen in public? But that's not what it is. It's about sharing and letting people know that, hey, things like this can happen in anybody's life, right? No matter
Right.
where you come from, what your background is. It's about being open to vulnerability, and it takes a lot of strength.
Yeah.
um, so I feel once you rely on your immediate family and you're betrayed by them itself, right? So there's, which is what we call family betrayal, and that is the deepest wound that anybody can have, is because that is your family by birth. You can't change that, and there are so much connecting cords, energetic cords, and it's a karmic tie. And to acknowledge that, release it, walk away, and still be strong, I think is the toughest lessons. Like the last, I think the last straw on the camel's back, if you may say. I
Right.
think when I went through that personally, and I'm still going through it in different scenarios and situations and circumstances and stuff like that, where you're not supported, because somewhere down the line, no matter how liberal people are, we still come from a genetic, a DNA of the patriarchal community, which still exists.
Right.
It's in the, let's just say it's in the blood of the family ties. It's so difficult to release it. Somewhere down the line they will slip back into that. And then you have to stand up and show up for yourself. And then I think when we learn, and or when I have learned, saying that, what, I don't think they're going to understand what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I'm screaming and I'm shouting, not literally, but energetically, right? To be seen, to be heard, to be understood by my own family. And
Mhm.
when that doesn't happen, because they are trying to point fingers and say that he, she, that one is wrong by behaving the way they're behaving, but they're not actually even willing to understand where I'm coming from. What is it that I'm trying to say? Hear me out. And that's when you take a step back and you realize, what? I'm just draining my energy. How about I take this energy and put it back into myself? And I don't need to explain to anybody. I don't need clarification. I don't need a conduct certificate. I don't need validation. I don't know if I repeated that. I said that before, but all I need to do is love myself so much that it doesn't really matter whether someone accepts you or believes in you or loves you or is there for you, you know, and it's that constant reminder to yourself every single day when you wake up. And it it takes a lot of courage to do that, you know, and that is where my journey began. And I said, you know, there are so many people out there, you know, facing a lot of injustice in their life, you know, and I see it for what it is. I see the truth for what it is. I'm never biased by family or someone who I love a little more or anything. It's like, I mean, I'm no one to say you're right or wrong because it's each one's journey and it's the path, but at least ethically,
Yeah.
there are some values, there are some morals, there are certain um, aspects of life that there's a conscience,
Right.
correct? And once when I see that the somebody else's conscience is either dormant or dead, either they don't know what they're doing or they know what they're doing and they're still deliberately hurting somebody else, you know, or for whatever reason.
Right.
So I'm here to guide them on their path, to give the ones who, you know, need someone to hear or listen to, or unconditionally, you know, to love them for who they are and understand their perspective for whatever reason, that whatever their path is and where they are, where they are at this moment. So that's my journey. So that's how I try and do as much as possible with a whole lot of people. And it brings me a lot of soul satisfaction as well. It gives me a lot of relief to say I put a smile on someone's face and I've made their life a little more meaningful. That gives me meaning in my life and makes my life more meaningful. And I'm like, I'm happy with that. And also while I am guiding them, it's also reiteration to me myself, where I'm also learning and I'm reiterating to myself that everyone's on the same journey, we're all on the same boat, and we all have each other, you know. I think the biggest thing I want to in this particular conversation is like, the biggest thing I think, Siddhant, is when one has empathy and compassion,
Right.
it will take you a long, long, long way. When you stop empathizing with people, then there's nothing left, you know, then your conscience is sleeping. Then it's time to awaken your conscience.
Right. I want to take you back in time. I've lived those years. Your father's been a legendary actor, Mr. Yusuf Khanji. He's done some memorable movies in Mukaddar Ka Sikandar, Disco Dancer, and of course, Zubisco in Amar Akbar Anthony, So now that you're writing a book on him, My Daddy's a Bisco. So I want to talk a little bit on that. What made
Absolutely.
you, you think right now that after so many years you want to write a book on him? Were there all those memories, as a child you wanted to put in that book? What was the entire, the whole idea behind you coming and writing this book?
Um, to begin with, let's just say maybe I hadn't dealt with dad's passing away, right? And I feel like they are suppressed wounds that are still there hidden, because I picked this book up and I started this book in 2022 and I didn't have the courage, so I shelved it.
Okay.
And then when I was asked to pick it up again, I mean, I mentioned in the book as to how this book came by, but through someone else, it was someone else's idea. Um, I felt I was ready now to even acknowledge the pain,
Okay.
right? Uh, every line, every paragraph, every situation that I'm coming up with, I'm bawling, right? I'm tearing up, I'm crying, I have tissues all over. This is my like working desk. I have like pictures of him everywhere, and um, so it's also my catharsis, let's say, and my dealing with his sudden passing away. And I, looking at the book, it's beautiful because for me, because I'm reliving his journey with him now, you know, and which I wasn't there back then. I wasn't even born. And now I get to also write it and share it with you all. One is also because of the fact that all the information on the internet, almost 90%, is incorrect. And I want to correct the facts now. And I said it's high time, and I think dad deserves that due respect to be known at least when his birthday was. Like, even his birthday and birthplace are all wrong, right? And I think that if I don't do it, then who would? And I said, and I'm not putting it out in any particular reason, Siddhant, to be very honest with you, for any other ulterior motive. For me, it is like, let his story go out to whoever wants to read it, right? And this is my gesture towards dad, and I feel like this is something that I owe to him, and I think that it's a legacy moving forward, and let the generations know who Yusuf Khan was and his story. Although I was just 9 years old when he passed, so I don't have much history, but I have made the effort to speak to his childhood friends, family. I've gone to their homes, had recordings, and gone back into the history of where his roots were. Everything is on a 30 feet long papyrus scroll, which I'm also adding in one of the chapters. It's a huge chapter where his history is, which I myself am reopening his life, which I did not know about. For me, this is new. He's not here right now to talk to me or tell me things physically in person, but I believe in souls around existing. I don't believe in any coincidences, because I believe in meaningful coincidences, which is everything is connected and synchronized. And I feel as I'm writing here, he's always pouring in information, because suddenly I get an idea and then I look it up, and then I hear through the voice messages that have been sent by different people, and I'm getting all the information that I had recorded, say 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26, oh my God, 4 years back. And people are asking me that question now, right? So I'm opening those chats and those recordings, and I'm seeing how everything that they're asking me today was already answered to me 4 years back. And I think this is all synchronized, synchronicity is what I'm thinking it is. I feel.
What do you think, the difference between, because people do normally get confused between intuition and overthinking, what is, according to you, the difference?
Okay. So it's very simple, right? Yeah, everything is easier said than done, to be very honest with you. What does a baby feel, right? When a baby is born, I'll give you an example. It's like baby first learns how to feel, right? There's no, he or she doesn't know how to speak, no communication. She's feeling pain, she cries, she asks for something. There is a hunger, there is laughter, happiness, she's feeling wet or whatever it is a feeling, right? The intuition is nothing but what you feel. But overthinking is your mind playing games with you.
Yeah.
So when your mind is playing games and your intuition is nothing but your conscience, there are two different voices, right? If you're confused at that moment, that means there is clutter, there's chatter here. So let it rest. Don't make any decisions at that moment. What I would tend to do is normally relax, sit down, sleep over it, and allow my intuition, which you say your gut, right? Which your higher self, your conscience is actually speaking to you. And allow that process to happen organically. And you realize that you're speaking or you're responding in a more aware state, in a state of awareness rather than reacting to things. I think a reaction comes more from the mind, because this is how we actually plan it and we see things. It has to go in a certain aspect and certain way, and we don't, then we all get shaken up and shattered and we react.
Right.
So when you allow to rest, it's like when the dust settles, follow your intuition. It's like this voice which will speak to you, and there's no right or wrong. What is right for you is right for you, and what is right for me is right for me. All we need to do is Siddhant and Fadhya right now, Dimpy Fadhya, aligning.
Right.
Yes, we are. It's great. If we're not aligning, then you're right in your path, I'm right in my path.
Right.
Then we
Correct.
part ways, and then we come back when we align again.
Right. No,
And
I couldn't
that's
agree
about
more
it.
with you. What you're saying is completely true. But I'm going to come now to a little bit of a fun segment. This is a rapid fire round, just to know you more
Okay,
personally. So these are going to be quick answers from your side. So the
let
first
me
one would,
try. Okay.
so the first one would be karma or free will.
Oh, karma for sure.
Okay. One word that defines true abundance.
The mindset,
Okay. Destiny or decisions.
destiny.
Okay. A spiritual practice every entrepreneur should adopt.
Absolutely.
Okay. If your soul could leave one message for humanity, what would it be?
I think the my soul would want to tell everybody is that you are enough.
Okay.
You are more than enough, right? Yeah.
What is that one motto you stand by?
Again, coming back to like, I am enough, and I feel like if I can, elaborate on this, is because we come alone, we
Right.
go alone. This is your path. This is your journey. Don't be afraid, right? We all have to go eventually. So
Yeah.
live your best, enjoy your life to the maximum, and don't rely on anybody. Anybody comes in your life is just a bonus.
Right.
You are perfect, imperfectly perfect
Right.
by yourself.
Right. So now I want to come also to some more questions which I was wanting to ask you. You've guided countless people, through transformation. If you could, place one message to the billions people watching us today, what would that message be from your side to them? Because see, there are a lot of problems, as you said, in the world. There's a lot of stress,
Yeah,
there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of, anxiety, there's a lot of things, but a lot of
yeah,
people, take different means also to, come out of the problem, which is not probably always correct. So,
yeah.
especially to the younger generation or the youth, what is that one message from you, being a healing expert, to them, which can help them in a positive way to, shape their lives out?
Are you talking only about the younger generation,
No,
or is
like
this in
completely,
general?
whoever's facing problems, whoever's facing pain, any message
Yeah.
from you which can help them.
Um, Let me share with you with my experience, right? With people, there are a lot of people who, what I'm seeing currently is happening most right now is when you're feeling a certain way and you share that with someone who hurt you, right? Or who hurt them. And then the other person turns around and says, it's your fault, right?
Right.
That, don't fall for that trap, right? You are feeling a certain way and you're allowed to feel that completely and wholly. There is no justification for that.
Right.
You're feeling it because it's there, it exists. Feel it completely, wholly. It's one thing to put the blame on someone, but it's also one thing to acknowledge that pain and let that person know. But the other person on the other side, most of the times I'm seeing, is not open to receiving that because they think that they are blaming them. So before that happens, it's a manipulation. So they turn around and say, oh, but it's your fault, you are doing that, it's your fault you are thinking that way, your fault you're acting this way. But they don't understand that where this person is coming from, right? Which is what I say, empathy is the most important thing. It's, I think it's bigger than love, right? Love is so vast and generalized. I think empathy is more direct. And when that happens, Siddhant, what happens, what it leaves you or anybody else or me with is, then you start feeling small or guilty about yourself and not so confident, because when you try to speak up, when you try to be heard and understood, they shut you up, right? So what do? You start believing, because the mind plays such games, that the mind will put you in a spot where, go back to where you were, go back to being small. But that's not what we're supposed to be.
Right.
Okay, rise beyond that, rise beyond all of these things. One is, stop explaining yourself to anyone in this world.
Right.
No one deserves your explanation at all, apart from yourself. Talk to yourself. Given all the love that you give to everybody else, or you're trying to give to everybody else, so that you can get a little bit of love and validation back, pour it back into yourself. And when your cup is full,
Right.
let it overflow to others. And then you wouldn't even care. You will care, but it wouldn't affect you as much whether they are thinking this about you, or they're speaking this about you, or they are wanting you to behave in a certain way. It won't really matter. It's all about the self. It's easier said than done, but it's one step at a time, right? It's taking baby steps for yourself. And one thing I have learned in my own journey also is, um, wake up every day and do that one thing that you love most for yourself,
Right.
right? What they ask me, what if it that means that I'm going against that person? That's fine. That's absolutely fine, because it's giving you the happiness. So wake up and do that one thing that you love to do most for yourself. And that's when you start filling your cup more and more, and you start, feeling like, hey, you know what, I'm happy. Actually, I feel good with my own company, and I love how I'm feeling right now. And that feeling, Siddhant, you automatically vibrate. It's like a ripple effect. You will start, the frequency is such that you will vibrate people into your life who are aligning with that,
Right.
and you will release the ones that are not. They will fall out of your life like they left the station long back, and you won't even realize it.
True, true. I couldn't agree more with you. And I think that, as a person, as you said, we come alone, we go alone, and, eventually you're answerable to yourself and the person you look in the mirror. So I couldn't agree more with you what you're saying. And it's
Thank
so,
you.
I actually so resonate with it also, because in my life also there are a lot of ups and downs. I'm saying in everyone's life there are problems, it's just the way
Absolutely.
you deal with it, and the way you come out of it, that makes you like a strong person. So I couldn't be agree
Yeah.
more than the things which you are saying. So it's actually a reflection to what I feel sometimes, and with the way you're saying it, you actually can feel that sometimes what you said exactly is what I feel also. So I can
Oh,
totally resonate with exactly every word you're saying from your mouth today. So
thank
um,
you.
that is my last question. This was such an amazing chat with you today, Dimpy. It was such an amazing. Your story's been amazing, and it's such I think like an emotional moment when you do something for your father. I've lost my father 5 years ago, and I also
Um,
remember the journey what he's lived. So it's truly emotional, when especially as a child, when you do something for your dad and you're
yeah.
penning every thought in that book. I can imagine, so many memories and so many emotions must be in you to, write every
Yeah.
sentence. So I wish you all the very best. Really look forward to reading that book whenever it's
Thank
out.
you.
And I'm sure all the viewers watching us today also would be really excited. And
Thank you.
wishing you all the very best for all your future endeavors and hope to see you very soon whenever I'm in the Bay. Look to connect and definitely would love to have a chat with you in person as well.
Thank you. I would like to say something to you as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Thank you for connecting with me and for doing this. It really means a lot because I feel somewhere down the line, we both are also helping each other in our
yeah,
journey. And I think you are doing a great job because I did scroll through your social media and I saw that you're putting out so much of information, so much of message, so many messages out there. And I feel, as you said, I think I remember having this conversation with you, even if there's one person
yeah,
who feels that they have learned something from this,
yeah.
and that's all we want, right?
Exactly.
and
True. Yeah,
and that's what we take back. and
yeah,
and I feel like um your path is more towards you're moving upward, right? And I think that you're doing a phenomenal job. I think you need to continue doing because I also can see a little bit of each one's soul's journey. So
right.
and from whatever I'm seeing right now, I think that you need to continue doing what you're doing, and you're not you maybe you don't even know, but you're also helping so many on their path, on their
Yeah,
journey. There are some silent viewers, there are
right,
some silent observers
right.
which will not comment, which will just come on your page, see
Yeah,
it, they won't do anything, and
yeah.
that's good enough
That's
too,
good
right?
enough. As long as they've got
Yeah.
the messages, help them, that's what we want. So in the end of the day. So
Yeah.
so once again, Dimpy, it was such a lovely time
Thank
chatting with you, and I'm really, really grateful, truly honored. It's truly a privilege to have this chat with you. So
thank you.
thank you once again, and I'll see you on the other side really soon.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much. Lots of
Okay,
love.
great.
Bye. Take
Yeah.
care.